Hello and welcome to the Balanced Business Dad podcast. This podcast is just one part of the Balanced Business Dad movement. This movement provides a platform of the important pillars of life while building this council of dads to support each other as we work to balance our lives. The 6 pillars of life that we strive to balance are our faith, our health, our marriage, fatherhood, brotherhood, and our business. We are here to build a council of dads to celebrate wins and as well as to share the challenges of being a husband and a father, and all the while working to keep our pillars in balance. The goal of the Balanced Business Dad movement is for dads to be better in all things, balanced, because everyone in our lives deserves it.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Balanced Business Dad. I'm your host, Dustin Hogue, and with it always my esteemed colleague, my mentor, my much senior, Mr. RJ Campbell. How are we doing today, RJ?
I went from senior to much senior. That was after esteemed. I am aging at a rate that's like 10 times dogs. But I'm still doing well today. I got up. I'm moving around on my own. It's hard to believe I'm almost in my 80s based on how fast I'm aging from this podcast.
Absolutely. So, guys, we are in for a treat today. We have a very special guest, someone that we are all going to learn from. So grab the pens, grab the paper, grab your phone, whatever you're going to take notes with, because I bet this is going to be packed full of information. Guys, in these episode today, we have Mr. Nicky Billou. Nicky, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, Dustin and RJ. Great to be here.
Yeah, awesome. So this, we've got to read a little bit about you, but obviously our listeners may or may not know who you are. So let's just start from kind of where you are today, and then we'll realize how we got here, and then all the things that you can, help the other business dads out there in the world with. So who is Nicky Billou?
Well, look, I'm originally an immigrant from the Middle East. I'm a Christian from Iran. And when I was a young boy, 11 years old, the Islamic Revolution happened. And my late father, God rest his soul, he could see the writing on the wall. He said, this is not going to be a great place for me to raise my Christian family. So he made a plan and he got us out of Iran. And we settled where I now live eventually, which is Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I thank God every day for my dad and his prescience, his foresight, because you know what? Because of him, the trajectory of the legacy of our family is completely different and in a beautiful and powerful way. We get to live in freedom and not in tyranny. And I know it's a little bit fashionable among certain circles in the West these days to say, America, the West, so oppressive, so racist, so sexist. And I'm not trying to pretend things are all perfect over here, because we all know they're not. But are you kidding me? Compared to the rest of the world, this is the most tolerant, freest place in the world. And we should all be grateful that we get to live in a free country. And sometimes it takes a man like me who's lived in tyranny to show the folks who were born here how good they have it, and to stand up for freedom. Because if we don't stand up for freedom, it'll be taken away. The late great philosopher Edmund Burke said the only condition necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to stand by and do nothing. So we all need to stand up and say we believe in freedom. And I'm a champion for freedom, free expression, and free enterprise. My late father, he was an entrepreneur, God rest his soul. He was an uplifter of men and women. If he knew you were looking for work, he'd make calls till he got you a job. If you were looking to start a business, Dad would sit down with you and help you get that business started by bringing you people that were advisors, even capital to get you going. And if you wanted to buy a car, a house, an apartment, and he knew you didn't have enough money, he'd top you up and make sure you could buy that car, that house, or that apartment. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, who does that? Well, the late, great Napoleon Billou, for one. Why? Well, first of all, he was a Christian. He believed he'd been blessed by God, and it was his duty as a Christian man to share those blessings with other people. But secondly, he did it because he could. He was rich. He had the financial wherewithal to help other people. I wanted to be just like that. I got into entrepreneurship eventually, and what I saw is there was a lot of good men and women out there that were good at what they did, but they weren't necessarily good at business. To use a technical term, they sucked at it because they didn't understand marketing or sales or balance sheets or income statements or cash flow statements or hiring or firing or culture building or customer service or structures or processes. So I saw that and I thought, I'm going to help these good people because they get stuck when they can't do all this stuff right, especially when it comes to sales, especially when it comes to standing out from the crowd. So I help good people who are nervous about selling, reframe how they look at selling, because nobody wants to be sold. You don't want to be sold. I don't want to be sold, but everybody loves to be served. So I have people look at it as serving. I rewire their thinking that way. Through serving others, they get to double, triple, quadruple their income. And through thought leadership, we help them be seen as the go-to authority in their space. So, an expert's someone who knows something. Experts are a dime a dozen. A thought leader is someone who's known for knowing something, and they're rare and valuable. And we show people how to become thought leaders in their space so that they can be sought after by people who have the types of problems that they solve. That's what it's all about. That is the backstory of Nicky Billou.
Wow.
What an introduction.
And at least, he's not passionate about this, not high energy. That's fantastic. And I keep going back to the first thing that I read. A Christian from Iran. So a Christian family in Iran, which of course before the revolution, I guess, I don't even know. I shouldn't even assume. Was that even common then? So we're talking
about Iran is almost 99% Muslim. Yep. And Christians are one of about 30 other religions that are there. So there's not a lot of Christians in Iran, but there's still a few 100,000. But from my perspective, I'm happy that my dad made the call that he made and he got us out of Iran. Absolutely. It was a good decision for the family.
Yeah, that was, like you said, that was a lot of foresight on that one to see that coming.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Awesome. So let's just jump right in because I have so many questions based off of your introduction. I coach other business owners and I've coached for a long time. So a lot of that hit me. But one of the things that you were talking about is how so many business owners are good at what they do, but they don't know how to run a business. Right. And, I see that all the time. I coach a couple doctors and they no clue, right? How to market themselves, how to plan for themselves. They just know how to make a lot of money. The challenge was sometimes is they don't necessarily keep that money. So based off of that, and for all the other business dads out there that are listening, what are your top 3 things that they really need to implement in their business? Or do you have the top 3 things that they should implement in their business as a business owner, not just an employee of a business that they own? Does that make sense?
Well, first and foremost, right, you need to understand that business is about people. My father used to tell me business is not about money, it's about people. That person sitting across from you, that's someone's father, that's someone's son, that's someone's brother, that's someone's husband, right? That is a person who's a hero to somebody else. And they've got hopes, they got dreams, they got fears. They've been disappointed by life, maybe even disappointed by someone just like you who promised them everything and delivered them nothing. So you got to understand that it's your role given to you by God Almighty to treat these people with love, respect, and help them. Because business is about what? It's about solving problems for people for profit, solving acute problems for amazing people at an awesome profit. That's it. That is why you're in business. If you do that, and you get that you're there to be of service to people, that's the first thing you've got to have your eye on. So if you're a business owner, stop thinking about you. Are they going to buy from me? Are they going to like me? Is my business going to go well? Start thinking about the people you're here to serve. For us, we have a program. We help coaches and consultants with that program, primarily in service-based business owners. So we've worked with some private clinics, like folks who have naturopathic clinics, chiropractic clinics, people like that. And here's the thing that I can tell you. Most of these folks, they work really hard. They're really good at what they do, and they don't make all that much money. The average coach makes $50,000 a year. The average doctor in the United States makes $160,000 a year. Okay? Sounds like a lot of money. It really isn't, especially because, they have to spend a bunch of that money on things. So what you want to do, what I look to do for my clients is I go, listen, let's add a 0 or 2 to your annual income. Let's add a 0 or 2 to your annual income. So my message is about solving the problem these folks have, which is called not enough money, stuck on an income plateau. You with me? So for me, why is it that people want to work with Nicky Billou? Well, it's really great and simple. It's not because of my amazing beard, although it is an amazing beard. It's because
it's a nice beard. It's a nice beard.
It really is. It is because I am somebody who absolutely 1,000% has a track record of delivering, doubling, quadrupling, five-folding, 10-folding, even 100-folding someone's income and helping them work 10 to 20 hours less per week. So you also need to find a way to stand out. Now, let me give you an example of a doc that I worked with. This is a woman who was a naturopathic doctor. And when we started working with her, she was doing well. She was doing 6 figures a year. But she wanted to do better. And she was part of someone else's clinic. She wanted to do her own thing. So with our help, first of all, she had the courage to leave this clinic and do her own thing. Secondly, we said to her, stop trying to be all things to all people. So I'm a naturopath. I can help you lose weight. I can help you avoid sickness. We said, no, you need to narrow your focus. So what she did is she narrowed her focus to, I'm going to work with women and I'm going to help them get their sexy back. Women over the age of 40. I'm going to help them get their sexy back. What a great thing to say. So this woman, by helping people get their sexy back, she was able to attract a whole lot more clients there, right? Because she wasn't just Jill Girl Naturopath. She was the woman who helped professional women get their sexy back. And boom, she doubled her income in year 1 of working with us. Year 2, she tripled from that base of double. And year 3, she doubled it again, and she was doing 6 figures a month instead of from 6 figures a year to 6 figures a month. This is a beautiful thing. You can only do it, though, if you learn how to sell, serve, don't sell, treat people as people, solve problems for people, and then also you got to stand out. You've got to be seen as the go-to expert in your space. She did that, and that's what allowed her to win. And that's what every entrepreneur needs to do. And then the next thing you need to do is you need to own your value. Don't undercharge. So many people undercharge. Most coaches I know, most docs I know undercharge. I got this girl. I got her to 4-fold her fees. It really worked for her. There was another fellow I was working with. He owned an acupuncture clinic. This is a man I met from my men's work, and he did well too. He made 6 figures a year. He came to me though. He said, Nicky, this is not enough. I live in Manhattan, man. My money comes and it goes. I need to make 7 figures a year. So I looked at his business. Everything about his business was good except how little he charged. I said, dude, you don't charge enough. You got to increase what you charge people. And he said, why? I said, because if you don't get what you should get, you won't give what you should give. Write that down, folks. If you don't get what you should get, you won't give what you should give. Wow. So he said, okay, I got it. Yeah. Why else? I said, because you'll have leverage over people. There's something called expectancy bias. People expect more from what they pay more for. This is a Mont Blanc pen. Whoops, there's another pen I got here. I just dropped it. This is a 50 caliber pen. It's made from a 50 caliber bullet. It's a $100 pen. This is a $1,000 pen. Both write. Both do a great job of writing. Which one do you think I use more? The Mont Blanc, of course. Why? Because I feel good when I use it. It just writes well. It feels good in my hand. I look like a star when I'm signing, multi-$100,000 contracts with it. Expectancy bias. I expect more from that which I pay more for. And when it comes to things like coaching and, providing medical and health services to people, you have more leverage on people. When they pay more, they expect more, right? Dustin, let's say you went to somebody, you went to RJ and you said, RJ, I'm going to help you grow your business. We're going to help you double your business in the next 3 years, and it's going to be great. We're going to show you how to systematize everything. And RJ goes, great, let's do it. What do you charge? And you said $50. He's going to go, what are you talking about? He's not going to believe you. He's going to think you're full of caca. Caca is a technical term, of course, right?
Absolutely.
And as a result,
it's a family podcast.
That's right.
We use caca.
It's a technical term. So as a result, he wouldn't work with you. Right? Because he wouldn't believe you. So you got to charge what you're worth. So this fella said, okay, well, how much more should I charge? I said, you got to 20-fold your prices. Your prices are really low. He says, no, I can't do that. That's just too much. He's hyperventilating. I can't get it. Relax. Don't hyperventilate. You got it. He goes, no, maybe I can double it. I said, no, at least tenfold. No. We negotiated him down to sevenfold of his business. It was just a bizarre experience negotiating with this guy. How much to raise his fees by.
So literally went up by 7 times, 700% increase in cost.
Now, he was making $150,000 a year. In 4 months, he added $1,050,000 in sales in 4 months because he 20-folded the number of clients. Because when he charged more, his A-list clients like Robert De Niro started bringing their buddies in there and go, look at my acupuncturist. She's the best in Manhattan. Look at how much he charges. And that's what worked for him. You have to own your value. You don't want to gouge people. That's wrong. But you don't want to undercharge either. If you do these 3 things, remember, it's all about people. Serve, don't sell. Remember, you've got to have a dialed-in message and a dialed-in target market. You've got to be a thought leader, not just, sitting somewhere in the sea of sameness. And you own your value. These 3 things alone, boom, they're going to get your business to grow. But remember, there's 4 things everybody has to have in terms of qualities to succeed and win. Number 1, they got to be decisive. You can't be a dabbler and a tire kicker. You got to be decisive. Number 2, they've got to be committed. They got to be committed to get a powerful result. Number 3, they got to be coachable. They got to take coaching from folks like Dustin. So they're in. And number four, they have got to be resourceful. Great Tony Robbins said, doesn't matter how many resources you have. What matters is how resourceful you are. How bad do you want change? And I'll tell you my own personal story from this. When I was going through my divorce, my business collapsed. I was sleeping on my mother's couch. It was embarrassing. Grown man sleeping on his mother's couch. I went and I saw this man do a talk at a business conference, and I approached him and I told him my story. And very tentatively, with a lot of trepidation and fear, I said, I think I need to hire you. And he looks at me and he goes, all right, I charge $5,000 for 5 hours of coaching. I get paid in full in advance, and I give no refunds and I make no guarantees. And I'm like, my God, I don't have that kind of money. And he said, I'm going to give you some free coaching. I'm going to help you out. I said, great, free coaching. Give it to me. He said, doesn't matter how much money you have. I said, it doesn't? I thought that's all that mattered because you want $5,000 from me. And he said, no, what matters is how bad do you want change? You're sleeping on your mother's couch. You're a grown man. And your life is going down the toilet. How bad do you want change? And I did not like to hear that, but he was right. So I said, give me a moment. I'll come see you in a couple days. So I was a fitness trainer then, and I approached some clients, prospective clients who had not made up their mind. And I came with a lot of intensity and urgency. And I said, listen, folks, I got good news for you. You're fat. You need to lose weight. And I'm broke and I need money. And I'm going to give you the deal of the century, half price. But here's the catch. You need to say yes now. You need to pay in full right now. What's it going to be? So 2 guys said yes, $1,000 each. Next couple of days went by. I went to go see this fellow. I gave him $2,000, pleased his punch with myself. And he's like, are you kidding me? I said 5,000, not 2,000. And I said, oh my God. Okay, tell me, how many times have you given the speech you gave me to people? He said, over the years, probably 30 or 40 times. I said, all right, great. Besides me, who else came back with any money? He said, oh, you're the first. I'm like, I'm the first. Take my money. I'll sign a contract and I'll pay the rest to you within 30, 60 days, whatever the case may be. And so we did that, and the rest is history because within 6 months, I'd made 6 figures and I never looked back. And it was a matter of me being resourceful and saying I was ready for change. I was ready for transformation in my life. And that's what made it possible for me, and that's what will make it possible for any entrepreneur listening to this right now.
Love that, guys. There is so much to unpack there. A couple things I saw is, A, you took the bet on yourself. Right. So I've coached a lot of people. Funnier story. I'll tell you real quick. RJ and I worked together years ago, came back through social media. Hey, let's get together for lunch. And then a week after that, he hired me to coach him in a different business that he was in. So I charged a little bit more than $50. So that was funny when you were saying that. But, it's for the people that take a stand for their own change is what I like there. That's what I heard there is you took the chance, you wanted it bad enough, and you actually did it. And you paid. And because you paid attention, right? So I love all of that. That is so true. So I would love to hear, because You mentioned your divorce there. So there's going to be some times in your life and your business journey or your life journey, really, that you're probably a little bit out of balance. There was a lot going on. Things weren't working out correctly, that kind of thing. Besides that one instance, is there a way that, you put yourself back to kind of come back to reality, if you will, and say, hey, no, this is what I have to do. And I have to, in our words, dad up, but fix the problems. Is there a way, do you have a methodology or a framework that you use to make sure that you get back where you need to be?
I'm part of a men's group, and
Perfect.
These men are my brothers, and we reveal everything to one another. And when we're screwing up and we're buying our own BS, these men let us have it. That's what works for me, because left to my own devices, I'm lazy. I'd rather just lie on the couch, you know what, eat some pineapple chunks and watch Netflix marathons, man. You know what I'm talking about? But I've got a passion, I've got a fire, and I've got men around me. Every man needs men around him. You need a band of brothers. I'm not talking about a bunch of people you go have a beer with, you go, check out who's looking beautiful at the bar. I'm talking about men who will have real conversation with you. The kind of man who you can call 3 a.m. to drag you out of a Mexican jail. That's the kind of man you need around in your life. That's what I use to help me when I'm off kilter, when I'm off balance, is I get my men to give me what I need. And I recommend every man who's listening to this, if you're not part of a men's organization, you need to be.
So we're going to have to use that clip when we talk about we have the Dad Up Council that we'll talk about in a little bit. So it's that, and that's one of the pillars is brotherhood. And that's the biggest benefit of the council. It's that brotherhood. Mm-hmm. It's those men that, I'm going to use that one, by the way, come to Mexico and bail you out of a jail. I refer to them as your refrigerator friends, the friends that will come over to your house, let themselves in, and they could just walk right in the fridge and grab a beer or a soda or a snack and not have to ask. Yeah. Those brothers.
Something I want to talk about, Nicky, there, because this men's group that you have and other men's groups out there, as well as the Dad Up Council, how it works for you is because you allow it to work and you lean into it. And I think that's really important to say. And I'd love to hear your feedback on that. It's when you have to show up so transparent in a men's group or any group for those other men to hold you accountable to that. So how did that, I don't know how long you've been in this group or any of the other men's organizations, but how did you get into that and say, kind of surrender, if you will, hey, I am going to be transparent and I'm going to be real and authentic when I show up here? Because so many men aren't, and they hold it back and they're so uptight about it. So I'd love to hear that.
Well, I did a transformational 3-day weekend for men called the Sterling Men's Weekend. Are you familiar with Justin Sterling and the Sterling Men's Weekend?
No,
I have not.
All right. So you men need to go to sterling-institute.com, and I don't get any money for telling you this. And you need to go sign up for the next Sterling Men's Weekend, which will be in Oakland, California, probably in April, May. And if you need a sponsor, and I'll be your sponsor. Basically that program took me from being a pussy and made me a man, because the world today is telling men that being a man is bad and wrong, and patriarchy is bad and wrong, and men are buying it. This message is coming to us from everywhere. It's coming to boys too, and sadly, a lot of boys are buying this, and it's really important, in my opinion, for men to be around energy that's masculine and get away from this uber feminization that's taking place. Feminization is great for women. It's not great for men, and it's important for men to know that there's brotherhoods and programs that they can be a part of that'll do this. So right now we're sending a bunch of our men to go do the Sterling Men's Weekend, men who haven't done it, because we know it's going to make a difference for them. Right. And it's super, super important from our point of view to have these men be a part of that program. So it wakes them up and it makes them see that, oh my God, you were destined to be a badass and a warrior. You were not destined to be some milquetoast snowflake that's going to melt at the slightest bit of criticism or conflict that comes your way. To me, that's super, super important.
Absolutely.
Sterling Men's Weekend is really important. Now, Justin Sterling is old and he is sick, and he may not be doing these for too much longer. So we've got another fellow we're working with who's got a program, and very soon we'll be having more men do that program. But as long as Justin's around, his is the finest program out there. He's been teaching it since 1979. He's the man.
Wow. Yeah, this is amazing. I mean, the recurring theme on this podcast, as we have men like you on here, is that need to be a man, to dad up, as we talk about, but eliminate I'll use it because he used the word earlier, so we're okay. The pussification of America and of the men.
Yeah.
And it's so common amongst these men. And I'm telling you, I don't know if it's because so many of us are entrepreneurs, but it amazes me that this is this big of a problem. If we're all talking about it, but again, we're talking to a very small subsection of America, I guess, that we have as guests or who listen to this podcast. Yeah, we just had an episode just came out a little while ago with Tyson Durfee, who's a world champion rodeo athlete. So you can imagine on that one, the same thing. I mean, that's, his cowboy up for everything. It so much of his message was just about that. Get into these young men, to these boys, and you gotta have, they got to man up early. You got to learn to be a man. It's so true. So powerful.
It's so powerful. And it's interesting because the absence of masculinity, and let's say it's been the last 20 years even, right? Maybe a little bit less than that, maybe a little bit longer than that. But look at what society has become during that same time. Like if we look at, if you can put your, I guess, finger on something that's changed, and society is, I'm going to say, has its challenges, more challenges now, it's the absence of masculinity.
Yes, sir.
Right. It's the absence of those roles. So such a great conversation. And, as someone who is, I have a 6-year-old son, right? So but making sure that I coach him and train him and raise him to have that masculinity, and positive masculinity too. Like, we're not talking about, grunts with clubs, yet that positive masculinity, to make sure he has that as a role model in his life, is so important to
positive Christian masculinity that
absolutely
we refer to. It's interesting to segue again. So I'm having a conversation 2 nights ago with my older son, who's in the Navy, and he was mentioning that they've done 2 things. One, the military has now lowered the minimum test score on what they call the ASVAB test to get in as an enlisted person in the military, from a minimum score of 30 to a minimum score of 10, because they can't get enough people to come in. I know it's frightening. The highest score gets a 99, so you can imagine. But his other concern, or not his, but the military concern right now, is they are having conversations. They don't know how much longer that we can maintain an all-voluntary military in the U.S. to be able to maintain the size of the military and the strength that we have, because young men are not joining the military anymore. And I'd never even thought of it in this light until, Nicky, till you said that now, how much of that is the softening of America, that these young guys there's no way. It's not even a thought to go in. Is that the lack of masculinity that's causing that?
Yeah, it is 100%. We're going to need a few more episodes to get into why that is. But in a nutshell, there has been a sustained assault on America from within that was originally sparked by Vladimir Lenin in 1917 when he took over Russia and made it communist. He sent one of his acolytes, a fellow by the name of William Unsenberg, a German communist, and said, we need you to weaken America from within, because if we're going to have a one world communist government, we can't attack America from without. We need to weaken it from within. And that began a multi-generational effort to basically turn America against itself. So they turned academia against America first, because American education was very pro-American 100 years ago. It's not now. Then they turned the media against America. Again, American news media was very pro-American, but it's not now. And then they turned storytelling, Hollywood, against America, because American movies were very pro-America, and they're absolutely not now. And this is something that we can do something about, but it's getting close to the point of no return. And we need to understand that our enemy is attacking us from within. And it just may be that there may be some sort of a cold civil war that has to take place. And let's hope that it doesn't become a hot civil war, but that's absolutely a possibility. It's absolutely a possibility. There's a wonderful poem written by a good friend of mine named Jeff Hoff called "Hard Times Create Strong Men Create Good Times Create Weak Men Create Hard Times." And we are now in the era of weak men who've created hard times. So we're in for it for a little while.
You know, what's interesting to me is kind of based off what you said there, and I agree on all accounts. And yet when there is something that is pro-masculinity, pro-America, the world goes, our country goes crazy over it. And right, just the little thing that came to mind is, you know, the new TV series out there, Yellowstone, like the craze that has came out there of the cowboy way, if you will, or the rancher's way has been this amazing thing that, I mean, it's, you know, how big it's gotten, but I'm now listening to that. It's because we're yearning for that again. We're truly standing there. We need it. We want it. And just, we're getting just a little piece of it and we go crazy when we get it. It's really interesting.
Well, there's this hockey player for the Philadelphia Flyers. He refused to go do the LGBTQ themed warm-up skate. Didn't make a big deal out of it. He just says, look, I respect everyone. Everyone has a right to their opinion, but I respect myself and this is my religion. I'm not into this, so I won't be doing it. And the woke mob attacked him. Thankfully, his coach backed him up. He said, you didn't do anything wrong. We're not gonna bench him or anything like that. But here's what happened. This man is not a superstar. His jersey sold out in hours. In hours. You cannot find his jersey anywhere. And this fella ain't Wayne Gretzky. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Like, so, you know, it absolutely stunned me that people just say, yeah, this man's got a big set of cojones on him, and we want to support this man. And they did. People are looking for heroes, man. They're looking for men. They're looking for leaders to stand up. And to me, that's something that heartens me, because I'm standing up and saying, hey, I'm a man. I'm here to be of service to men. I'm here to help these men. And I'm looking for folks to say, yeah, I want to follow this dude. And that's why I come on shows like yours, because I'm looking for folks to know who I am, and I'm looking for folks to want to follow my message. I'm looking for men to follow my message and come check out what I do in the world of men with Sovereign Man. And I'm also looking for business owners, coaches, consultants to come and say, yeah, this dude wants to see me win. Let me go talk to him. Let me see if he can help me win.
I love it. What an amazing story. What an amazing message that you have. So glad that you took the time to be on this show, because this message is out there for all of us dads. This is what we need. These are the people that we need to pour into our lives, to take a stand that I am a man, I'm a Christian man, and I'm proud of it, and I'm okay with what I believe. So I love it. Nicky, thank you so much. So where can people find you? Where can they look you up? Where can they see what you have to offer?
So I've got a website for men called sovereignman.ca.
Okay.
Our men's podcast is there, plus what we're all about and programs we run for men. So I recommend men come check it out. If any man wants to come and check out one of our meetings, we offer that as a free session to men. I'd invite you men. You men should come and check out one of our meetings. I think it'd be an honor to have you there, and I think you'd enjoy yourselves. So, just reach out to us on sovereignman.ca. If you're a business owner and you're looking to grow your business, if you're a coach or a consultant and you're looking to make $250,000, $500,000 or more a year, then go to my website, eastcircleacademy.com/appointment. Jump on my calendar and let's have a conversation. I'll do something I call a success coaching call. Let's coach you to success. And it's complimentary as well. You can find me anywhere on social media under the name Nicky Billou, and I've written a bunch of books. You can go to Amazon. You can just type in Nicky Billou. All my books will show up. There's 8 published books there, plus my 2 podcasts.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely have all that information in the show notes.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much. So just a couple things, and then I'll turn it over to RJ to take us out. Guys, we do have the dadupcouncil.com up and running. That is kind of our group, for the business dads out there. So please check that out. It's exactly what Nicky was talking about. It's the people to hold you accountable when you're screwing up. It's the people that, and also coaching along with that. If you want to lean into one of the pillars, if you want to, hey, I have challenges with my faith, or I have challenges with my marriage, we have specialized coaches in that field, in that pillar, to help coach you with that. So please check that out. That's the dadupcouncil.com. Also, the next Balanced Business Dad Retreat is going to be the first weekend of May in Lesterville, Missouri. We'll have a link out for that soon where you can get tickets and things like that. It's an amazing weekend of fellowship, brotherhood, a little bit of beer drinking, shooting some guns, but being transparent, truly being a man, right?
And we're going to do what we can to get Nicky to come down to Lesterville, Missouri, the first weekend in May, to be our honored guest and speaker at our next Balanced Business Dad Council.
Make it happen.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, thank you, RJ. Let's take him out.
Yeah, as I always say, guys, thanks so much for listening to this little free podcast we put out there for the dads. And we want more dads to hear this message, more men to learn how to dad up. And the best way you can help us do that is by rating the podcast. Just give us a good rating, review it. That is all we ask, and that helps a lot. You can reach Dustin and I on Facebook. We have a public group. It's the Balanced Business Dad. So search that on Facebook. We'll invite you in. We've I'd say more than 300 men that are sharing life on that, sharing our wins and talking about our challenges and enjoying that brotherhood. And then, of course, the Dad Up Council that Dustin mentioned, which is our private group, coaching group. That's the same thing, man, but a little more content on that one. It's a great thing.
Yep. Awesome, guys. We'll see you next week, and thanks for listening.